Junior Golf Team Championship has been named, and they will be playing in Uganda. That is in the Lake Victoria Golf Resort in Uganda. So that's going to be one huge tournament bringing together youngsters from all over the continent. Daniel Wahome is my name. Our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. Our sign language interpreter at this R is Lensa Odingo. And let's get into our first conversation, and it is with the president of the Junior Golf Foundation, Regina Gachora, who's joining us via Zoom. And President, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mr. Wahome. How are you today?
I am very, very well. Thank you for giving us your time today. And yesterday was was a big event for you, a lot of focus at the Muthaiga Open as you are naming the teams that are going to the All-Africa Junior Team Championship in Kampala. Just give us a background on how you built up to this and making the final selection yesterday.
Yes, so this has been a process. In mid-February, we were invited to the All-Africa Junior Team Championships, where four boys and 3 girls would participate. And it's a tournament that has more than 20 countries participating, and we needed to select a team. So what we did is based on our order of merit from last year, we selected 12 boys and 8 girls to enter an elite squad. And in the beginning of March, that elite squad has been training in some in Mombasa, some in Nairobi, some were out of the country. They were training for about 3 weeks. Led by Coach John Van Liefland, who is the national coach. And after that, we had a selection process. We requested to be part of the Kenya Amateur Championships in Muthaiga, the Muthaiga Open. And our juniors played it a bit differently than the top amateurs in the country. They self-caddied, whereas the rest of the amateurs were caddying and the professionals had caddies. And for 3 days, they braved the elements. It rained, it was windy, it was cold, and carrying their own bags for 3 days, the best 7 players were selected, and that is how we selected our Kenya team.
An interesting one is that you asked the juniors to self-caddy. Well, how was that reached?
Well, the tournament in Uganda is self-caddied. And we need our juniors to be able to take care of themselves on the golf course and learn all the elements of playing golf without any help. So we are very fortunate in Kenya that we have caddies. Every golf club has caddies. But you see, we are now playing in Africa where some countries don't have caddies. And one day we will play against Europe and the US, where most of the juniors there are used to carrying their bags and self-caddying for themselves. So we are preparing them for the future. We are preparing them to be able to play against the world.
And now looking at the performance of the team from last year, the tournament that was in Giza, Egypt, what were the learning lessons from the juniors who participated and the feedback that they gave to JGF?
So some of the feedback they gave us, which was very good feedback, was that one, they needed more time to prepare. So as soon as we got the invitation for the tournament, we quickly got together a squad. And based on that squad, we started training immediately for the squad. It didn't matter whether the juniors were going to make it into the Kenya team or not. We made sure that everybody in the squad got the best training that they could get. And now that we've selected the 7 and we've already had at least 3 weeks of training, there's another 3 weeks of training going into camp for these juniors. So they'll be well prepared by the time they go to Lake Victoria, Serena. Our objectives, when we went there, we thought, it's very easy to be top 3, but we realized that, other countries have been building high performance academies and have proper structures for junior programs. And those are things that we've been putting in place by starting juniors at a very young age, like they do in South Africa and Morocco. We're starting juniors at age 5. We have a lot of non-handicapped tournaments just so that the juniors can continuously improve their game. And now we've increased our world ranking tournaments from 5 to 12 so that our juniors are continuously playing world ranking tournaments and are continuously going up the ranks in terms of being world ranked players. So all that feedback that we got from Egypt, we've put in place. And even after we finish in Lake Victoria, this team squad is going to continue training all year round. We're not going to now wait for the next tournament to start a training camp. We're going to have a continuous camp that runs all year round so that we are prepared for any international tournament that comes around.
You mentioned about ranking tournaments because those really do help, especially when, if some of them are going to transition, start playing with the seniors. You could just mention to us about the event that you have picked as world ranking tournament within the local circuit.
So our tournaments, we have 12 tournaments that are just junior world ranking tournaments. But the fantastic thing is that the KAGC tournaments, which are the amateur tournaments, and they're about 30 this year, have now welcomed juniors to be able to play. So we have our 12, KAGC has 30. It means every week our juniors will have an opportunity to play a world ranking tournament. And that now opens up the floodgates because the more tournaments you play, the better you look in terms of world ranking. So our juniors, especially the girls, I think the best was 1,300. Of the boys, we are lucky we have Adele Balala and Joroge Kibugu who are in the 200s. But that's because they've been playing international tournaments around the world and the amateur tournaments here in Kenya. So we have seen that there's a pathway for our juniors to become world ranked and to be the best in the world. We just need to have the tournaments that give them that ranking.
Now, I would like to mention them. For example, I know yesterday was, a mixed day because Karen was washed out. Muthaiga turned out to be a great one. What's this plan that you're having to keep the juniors active? For example, through the categorized tournaments, for example, like the one that missed out at Karen yesterday.
Yes, we have a good balance of the two. So we have about 20 non-handicapped tournaments, and those are fantastic, especially for juniors between the age of 5 and 14. The WAGA ranked tournaments are good for juniors 13 and above. So we have tournaments for all age categories. And what that does is that, one, the non-handicapped tournaments capture the juniors at a young age, and they're fun, and they make lots of friends, and it introduces them to the game of golf. I would usually call it primary school education. It is the primary school education of golf. It's fun, it's exciting, and the juniors get to win prizes, and they love it. But then the WAGA tournaments is what I call secondary and university student education. It's tougher, it's grinding, it needs grit, but those are the tournaments that now position us to be one of the best players in Africa.
Now, I'd like to talk about this because there's a huge link, and it's the US Golf Kids system. I think about a month ago, one of the coaches under the US Golf Kids, Riz Charania, was here, and he gave a testimonial about how different it is for him playing off the men's tee at the age of 9 and what he is seeing now. What is the progression of the US Kids Golf since September 2021?
So the US Kids Golf Series, I think, is I quantify it like education. It's an 8T system, and 8T system, I will quantify it like going to school. So the right start is for children between the ages of 6 and 7. It's like a child going to standard 1. So a child going to standard 1 only needs to know the principles of standard 1 and pass standard 1. Once they move to age 9, they now go to standard 2. So it is age progressive, which means that a child can be able to excel in their T's. And if they're able to excel in their T's, and there are some juniors who are already doing it, if a child is already playing scratch golf at age 7 or age 8 from their T's, by the time they're age 10, they will play scratch golf for life. And all the players, the major players that you see in the US right now, half of them went through the US Kids program because they started at age 4, age 5, the Justin Thomases, the Jordan Spieths, the Brooks Koepka, all those went through Collins Morikawa. They all went through the US Kids program because it goes through stages just the way you go through education. And as if you're good at every stage of the way, by the time you're going to white tees and blue tees at age 15, 16, and you're already a scratch golfer and you're already confident in your game, then you'll blow out the world. And that's what we want to introduce to our juniors, which we've already introduced, is that we want our juniors to be able to become scratch golfers at a very young age from their tees. And as they move on from one tee to the other, as they grow stronger, as they become bigger, they'll be able to hit longer. But their short game, and if you ask any professional, even Riz, he will tell you the short game for the juniors is the same as the seniors, is the same as the pros. The moment you master the short game is the moment you become a professional player in this country. So we are going about it the right way in terms of making sure that the juniors learn progressively how to move from being beginners to becoming the best players.
Now, as we see this, what more work is being done to work with the close to over 35 golf clubs across the country to ensure that the game is spread more and more juniors come into the system, working with schools across the country, and even for some of them, I know there was something about working with universities so that there's more of young people joining the sport.
So a lot of exciting things are happening, and I think during Magical Kenya Open, there were very, very good and exciting meetings that were had. Kenya Golf Union has signed an MOU with KICD to create a curriculum for golf. And as soon as the curriculum is done, golf will be gazetted as a sport. And I think one of the success stories we remember is that the moment rugby was gazetted as a sport and went into the schools, you can see how successful it was in getting our players for the sevens and even for the national team. So we are going the same route with golf in terms of getting it into the schools, especially schools that are near golf courses. We're looking at building ranges where the kids can be able to play with small golf courses, a 3-course, a 4-course, easy to manage golf courses, so that there's golf courses near most schools. And once we get, as we said, once we start them young, you will see a huge pipeline of great players coming out of the whole country. Also, our tournaments, especially with our title sponsor Safaricom, they have dedicated 80% of their tournaments. The series should be coming out soon outside of Nairobi. So you will find them in Kakamega, you will find them in Nyahururu, you will find them in Nandi Bears, you will find them in places where traditionally most sponsors never used to go. And that will open up the floodgates for golf around the country.
Regina, now, as you head to Uganda, what's the plan with Coach John Van Leflan and making sure that Lee Kimathi, Chris Shah, Mika Lyle, Kihara, Junaid Manji, Chanel Wangare, Belinda Wanjiru, and Audrey all are, getting ready, because we know there is the balance between school and getting ready for national team duty?
So the first thing we do is we write a letter to the school. The schools where these players are coming from, to give them a bit of leniency in terms of time off, so that they can be able to get the necessary training time that they need. The second thing, I think John Van Liefland has spoken to all the juniors and has told them that, the honeymoon is over and that they will get into serious training from here on out. The third thing is that luckily for the juniors, they played in a course, Muthaiga, which is very difficult. It's a championship course, which is similar to Lake Victoria in terms of the water. There's a lot of water in Lake Victoria. So his training program is going to be tough. It's going to be more of a boot camp. And I see good results coming out of it. I've already seen very good results coming from the tournament that happened in Muthaiga. And I believe if the team can perform even better than what they did in Muthaiga, we can see a podium finish, top 3 for both the boys and girls.
Well, thank you very much, Regina Gachora. She is the president of the Junior Golf Foundation. And speaking about junior golf, because yesterday, the national team that will represent the country at the All-Africa Junior Team Championship at the Lake Victoria Golf Resort and Spa in Uganda, from the 15th to the 21st of April, they was named. So 4 boys, Lee Kimathi, Chris Shah, Michael Kehara and Junaid Manji. 3 girls, Chanel Wangare, Belinda Wanjiro, and Audrey Gachora. So they were all mentioned. And thank you very much, and all the best to the team. And we hope to get better results than what we had in Egypt 2022 in October last year.
Thank you, Mr. Wahome.
Thank you very much, and have a good day. That was